Hello YouTube artists, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. I wanted to talk to you about this month. May has been so busy and it feels like I've just been running. I'm trying to slow down, but it just keeps me going somehow. I've been decluttering my office. I went on a recent trip and now I'm here in my studio trying to catch up. And this is when I remembered about the sketchbook that I took with me on the plane ride to jot down some ideas and what I came across when I was decluttering some things from my studio. It all leads me to the art of noticing, the hidden clues that I found here, and my sketchbook curiosity, which we're going to be going through these sketchbooks so I can show you how I'm finding inspiration within them. The first thing I want to share is whenever I take a trip, I always take some kind of notebook to just jot down thoughts, ideas, whatever's going through my head. I don't like to just sit there idly and do nothing. So I'm always taking something with me to get me working. And one of the things that I wrote is work in a series. This is what I've been thinking about, and I'm sure you've been following me about the Curiosity Project, where I'm doing quilt squares and houses and farms from what I see every day, the art of noticing. And so what I've wrote in here, and I find that writing sometimes takes me into a different realm. It makes me curious. It makes me intrigued in different ways. And whenever I'm writing, just writing kind of mindlessly, I ask myself the best questions. I don't know if you're like that. So you can see that I just wrote work in a series and I asked myself some questions to think about. One of them was revisit my sketchbooks for information and inspiration. I don't know about you, but I find a lot of inspiration in my sketchbooks. Because I've been keeping them for multiple years now, I can look through them in different ways. So some is for techniques, some is for ideas, some is for color palette, but I always find a lot of inspiration in them. I wrote, what inspires me to think beyond the painting? So think about the painting on your page in your sketchbook. What can I do to think beyond that? Like, what is it inspiring me to do, to think about, to try something new? I'm always looking for a challenge to try something new. How can I make a series of paintings from the inspiration, seasonally, in nature, feelings, story, connection? Those are really things that are meaningful to me right now, and I want to make sure that they intentionally go with me whenever I am looking for some kind of inspiration. What is the connective thread to be discovered or carried through the artwork series? You know, I want it to connect and make sure that one piece goes with the next piece that goes with the next piece. It doesn't have to be the same piece, but I do want it to have a connective thread, and that's what I'm kind of asking myself. And as we go through the sketchbooks, you'll see that. What should be the starting point to exploring my sketchbook art and creating a series around it? That's what I'm thinking about. And it led me to this find when I was decluttering. It is a package of, it's automobile diagrams, but it made me think of when I was doing this Shirley Trevena studies. I did a piece that had blueprints in the backgrounds, and that's what these remind me of. So that's where we're going to start. You can find information on this study. Just search for Shirley Trevena on my channel, and you will definitely see this sketchbook and how I worked it with her book. So one of the things in this book was, I really love this color study. I'm liking right now the earthy feel of browns, golds, and greens. And in fact, I have two pictures in here that are like that. Here's another one, and you can see that I like the little space here. I like the different shapes. I like the different sizes. I kind of like the drama of this piece. It's a little more dramatic than this one, but notice that it has an element in there that has a really dark. This has a dark too that kind of bled into the front, and I like that. So I'm already getting color inspiration here. But this is the piece that has the blueprint in the back. And in Shirley's piece, there was a blueprint in the background of her painting. It was here, but also in the back corner, and I really like that. And because my major is in architectural rendering, I really connected to that blueprint. And so when I bring you up close here, you'll see some of the marks. You'll see the pencil marks. I've got like a circle here. I've got some numbers. So let me find those for you. There's the numbers. There's the circle. Can you see like the little arrows? So those are the blueprints in the background. And when I did this piece, the blueprints was really what I was concentrating on and trying to connect with. Again, it connects to my past story, but yet I'm bringing it to the present in watercolor. And in my picture here too, I wanted to kind of break it up into quadrants. So I've got a line here and a line here, but then I used the stem as another quadrant breaker. So you can see I've kind of got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So this connected me to my diagrams and made me remember that. So now I've got kind of a color scheme going, and I've got a blueprint idea. So this is one great idea that I could do anything with. You can see that I just did a flower here, but my nature would fit in really great. In fact, right now our catalpa tree is blooming. So it's got big heart-shaped leaves. It's got almost like orchid flowers on it, but it also has the purple beans that I love that are really long. Think about between your wrist and your elbow, that's about how long the beans are. So I'm really thinking of doing a nature study with the blueprints in the back because they don't normally go together, and I like that. It's unexpected. It's kind of mysterious and intriguing, like, why did she do that? And I like that. I like making people think, what made her do that and why? Because it just, to me, it's making the viewer ask questions, but it's also making me excited to be so different and thinking outside the box. My next book here, this is a sketchbook, one of my old sketchbooks that has like 96 pages. And I used this for multiple years because it was the big sketchbook here. And I was really nervous about working through it. But you can see I've got a lot of ideas. And a lot of these have to do with color, but also the way that the art was done. So let me share that with you. So I've got these quail eggs, and this palette here for me is very slow and calming, and I find it almost reflective of a beach, but I like the idea that I'm bringing nature eggs to it. And I did a whole sketchbook series on this called Quail Eggs and Feathers, and that's what this is from. But I remember I wanted to start slowing down a little bit and being a little easier on myself and just go gently into something. And that's what these colors do for me. They make me almost exhale, like, yeah, this is great. I can take my time. I don't want to feel rushed. I want to enjoy the process. I just don't want to go full steam ahead, right? So I've got this piece. I've got this piece, which I really love. It is a photograph that I took of some old oak leaves, and then I had bought some quail eggs from Etsy, and I just set them on the leaves. And I like that they go together kind of oddly, but you don't really notice the quail eggs until you get past realizing that you're seeing leaves with something on them. And again, it's that curiosity, that intrigue, that mystery, that why. Those are the kind of things that I think I'm wanting to answer for myself. Remember, I asked, what kind of story do I want to tell? And I think that's it. Again, I've got the palette here that's nice and soft. This is another palette. I think this goes back to the brown palette that I'm really liking, and I really like the idea of doing colors first in this kind of way to give me a palette to play with, and that's why I marked this page. I've got another leaf study. Again, something long and skinny from nature that I collect. I took a picture of this. I liked that the leaf was here and it was actually cupped up like this, so that all of this underneath here is actually the shadow of the leaf. But again, I've got these 2 elements or 3 elements up above it. I like the idea of it, just like the leaf study back here, of it being wider, and then you see the subjects when you come up close. This is just another variation of that, but in brighter colors. And then again, this was the colors of those eggs, and I am wanting to have that calmness, the non-distraction in my life. I want to just be able to relax when I'm doing something, and I like the idea of those colors relaxing me. And then I came to this piece. This is part of my grunge Kelly, the old Kelly. And again, this kind of goes to that first piece with the Shirley and those colors. And now I'm wondering, can I add some grunge to that? But I also want you to look at these colors here. They're pretty soft, like my eggs. You know, I think of the blue eggs with the kind of speckles on them. I've got gray speckles here, some browns here. Let me revisit those and see how they do kind of go together. So now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can add some grunge pieces to this and add more distressed kind of elements to this. This is now softer, but this is going to give me a little more industrial kind of feel, which goes back to my blueprints, which is kind of nice. I like the idea of connecting both of those together. And then that leads me into my third sketchbook here. This is my found and curated sketchbook. It is a concertina sketchbook, but in here what I really want to show you is this piece here. This is made to be a shelf. At that time it was what I connected with out in nature and brought in. So you can see, again, this is a quail egg. I had brought in some magnolia buds and just stuck them in a really cool cup. Now think of this cup as the grunge that I just showed you and the dark browns that I've showed you from the Shirley Trevina sketchbook. You can see they're all kind of coming together, right? I even like the moon here because it's kind of grungy. It kind of reminds me of the quail eggs. And then I've got a lot of nature elements that are hiding. So I've got a leaf hiding here. I've got a leaf hiding in here. I've got a palette in the background here. I've got hearts, which I just love. I've got an art supply. I've got really cool colors here. Think about the quail eggs with the darks in there. And I love the idea of something maybe seasonal, or maybe I've taken a trip out to the garden. Remember I talked about that catalpa, right? So what would the catalpa look like with this? Well, in the shelf here, I could have a big long catalpa bean sitting on it. Instead of this heart, I can have the actual leaves falling down because they are kind of heart-shaped. But I can also look at their flowers. So I could find some kind of component, maybe not a cup, but maybe like a pod or something that is facing this way that I can kind of stick the catalpa orchids in. And it's just another way to reiterate what I'm seeing, what I'm noticing, but yet in a series that will make me more intentional to what I'm doing. I love the idea of just collecting something from outdoors and creating a little scene like this. And I think I could do that over and over and over. I mean, think of springtime when you've got the daffodils blooming and you've got all the wildflowers blooming. And, you know, there are all kinds of things just starting to bud up. It would be really nice to put something like this together for that. And if I'm able to use like something hard, like a vase or a pod or a cup or something like that, but yet add an art supply where it's my color charts or my pencil or add something soft and fragile like the eggs or a delicate flower, and yet something man-made like the tag. These are all things that I curate and collect. I collect the paper, I collect the treasures, I collect the nature from outside. So anything that I'm putting together like this reflects me, and that gives me my connective thread that I'm looking for. So I want to go over those lists again inside of my notebook that I took with the plane, and let's see how we did and if I'm missing anything, because this is the way that I start looking for something bigger to do in my sketchbooks. So I revisited my sketchbook. We found lots of information. What inspires me to think beyond the painting? So you saw that with just what I saw the other day with the catalpa tree, right? That is on my brain right now. So it instantly gave me something that I could bring in personally, but turn into a painting pretty easily. And I like that. How can I make a series of paintings from the seasonally nature, feeling, story, connection? And I've talked all about that. What is the connective thread? Now I've got plenty of those going through there. I've got nature. Color's going to play a big part. I want to talk about the grunge Kelly again. I don't know if you saw that video, but it was like, I'm missing old Kelly. And that's where that grunge comes in. But I also thought about the diagrams, right? Or the blueprints. Those are old Kelly as well. So bringing those back in a different way, that they're going to be kind of silently in the background. But again, it's about noticing. It's about the intrigue, the mystery, the discovery, the hidden clues. And for me, having those clues in there and seeing a viewer discover them is part of the fun for me. It's also fun going through my own work years later and being like, oh, I forgot I put that there. How fun. And I want you to think about what kind of elements can you put in your work. You know, maybe your grandmother was a seamstress or she loved to sew. So do you have any things that remind you of that? Can you sew one of her buttons on there? Can you add a pattern that she made? Maybe she made your favorite sweater as a kid. You know, maybe she knitted an Afghan for you. Maybe you pull out those colors, or that pattern shows up somewhere in something. Like my shelf sitters, right? Imagine a quilt square maybe on a postcard, but yet it is something that reminds you of your grandmother. These are the part of storytellings that connect with you. But for me, they're also about observation. And I think as artists, we see and we take in so much stuff that it is bringing forth the stuff that we connect with the most and putting it into our art and telling a story about it, because it connects us with, for me, it connects me with the past and the present. You know, the catalpa was my favorite tree as a kid. We had a giant one at the corner, and I loved watching it go through the pods, the big heart-shaped leaves, the flowers, even though I could never see the flowers because they were so tall. But it is carried through in a way that is my connective thread. It's from when I was a child to now as an adult. It still has that same wonder for me, where I'm enamored by the tree because of what I used to think of it as a kid. The starting point and the exploring, that is what I've already done. So now I just need to give myself some time, write some ideas, come up with some different ways to construct a series, and then start figuring out what I want that series to look like. How big? Where am I putting it? Is it going in my sketchbook? Is it going on paper? Am I going to frame it? Are they going to be big paintings? You know, these are the next questions that I get to ask. So if you are wondering about taking your art a little further, you might want to think about series and ask yourself some of the questions that I asked myself here, and see what kind of categories you come up with in your own ideas and from your own work. What are those things that you've curated and collected that just fill your whole body with warmth and love and excitement? Because those are the things you need to be exploring on how you can bring them into your paintings. If you were inspired by the art of noticing today in this video, please leave me a like or a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please click the box. And as always, thanks so much for watching.